What's up, self-healers? Lisa Lightfeather here. Welcome to my channel, Closing the Gap, where we make a conscious effort to meet you where you're at on your spiritual journey. Before I get started, if you enjoy this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share if you feel to. Today I want to speak on the topic of where are the elders? In this day and time, people are living longer and longer and healthier lives. The older generation is more populated now than it has ever been. People are living to be in their 80s and 90s, and some even into the hundreds. But where are the elders? And so today, the topic that I want to attempt to dive into is the difference between getting older and being an elder. Not the actual English terminology of the difference between old and elder, but the difference between aging, which we are all doing, and aging and becoming an elder. So people identify elders with being old, or they identify elders with being a grandparent or a great-grandparent. Being a grandparent does not equate to being an elder. It's just a consequence of you having children and your children having children. But it doesn't make one an elder. Now, one may spend time with their grandchildren and plant seeds in their grandchildren and keep them for the weekend and hope that the seeds stick and set the example for the grandchildren. But at the end of the day, the parents come back and they get the grandchildren, and they better be in the exact condition that they left them with you in. So there's no psychological changing or making any real change over the weekend with your grandchildren. Now, over time, one can plant seeds and groom their grandchildren and pass on their knowledge to their grandchildren. But that still does not make one an elder. An elder is someone who doesn't take care of their grandchildren just so that when they get older and they can't take care of themselves, they have someone to take care of them. That's not eldership. That's fear of aging. That's fear of being alone in our elder years. But it's not eldership. It's just fear of getting old. Being an elder is someone who does something that does not benefit them. It doesn't benefit them. There's a quote about planting a tree. Elders plant trees that they'll never sit under. They'll never enjoy the shade of. Elders plant trees that they'll never eat the fruit of. They plant vineyards that they'll never drink the wine of. Because elders aren't doing it for themselves. They're doing it for the generations to come. In the Native American culture, there is a saying that if what you are doing is not going to affect 7 generations after you, you're wasting your time. When we do something for the generations, it should be beyond our grandchildren. Yes? Of course, our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren will be affected by it. We should be seeking to do something that's beyond them. Our grandchildren are our responsibility. These days, it's all survival of the fittest, to each his own. You know, no one's thinking about the person to their left or right. We're basically thinking about ourselves. There are all types of things today that can assist one in aging gracefully. Yes? And we'll put our efforts into that, into holding on to the physical body, into holding on to this realm as long as we can. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with maintaining your physical body, eating healthy, working out, doing things to make yourself feel and look better. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, it's superficial. What are we doing as we age, as we get older, to establish the title of elder? Who are you teaching? Who are you helping? Who are you passing your gifts on to? Are you keeping your eye open for that person who can take on the gifts that you have, that you can teach them, that you can guide them? Your grandchildren are going to get it by proxy. They're just going to get it. What are you doing to annotate your journey? Or are you just hoping that they will remember? What is your legacy? Are you documenting it in a book? These days, are you documenting it throughout the internet? Are you leaving something behind? So that when your grandchildren have a hard day, they can say, oh yeah, grandpa's not here. But I remember when they said, let me go find that, click. And a portion of this is what I'm doing with the videos. My audience already knows what I'm speaking about, the majority of them. At this point, the majority of my audience are my friends or my associates or part of my tribe in some way. And they're showing me support. But the real reason is because I want to leave something that my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren can come back and look at and say, hey, I remember when grandma said blah, blah, blah. I want to leave something of substance. What is it that you are leaving of substance? I got it. Life insurance. I got it. The house. I got it. But what happens when the money is gone and the house falls down? What are you leaving your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren to come? What are you leaving in your community? The time that you spend with the people in your community, 7 years from now, will they remember you? Will they remember the seed that you planted? Will it make a difference in their life? There's a difference between becoming older and becoming an elder. I know what it's like to be raised by someone who is just older. There's no substance. There's no giving back. There's no nourishment. They gave birth to you and they're older. Other than that, they accomplished nothing. And the reason they gave birth to you even had motives behind it. You have people out there who give birth to children just to try to keep the man. They don't want the baby. They want the man. And when the man leaves, the baby is worthless. They're not elders. They're just old people who've made bad decisions. Now, I'm not being judgmental. We all make bad decisions. But at any point in our lives, we can turn. We can shift what we're doing in just a small way. I'm not saying change your life. I'm saying find somewhere where you can plant that tree that you know you'll never sit under. Plant that tree that you know you'll never consume the fruit of. And being courageous enough to heal oneself. One is well on their way of becoming an elder. Because in healing oneself, you heal 7 generations behind you and 7 generations before you. And being courageous enough to heal oneself, you're pulling back that onion skin. And every time you pull one back, it hurts. And the deeper you go, the more it hurts. And the deeper you go, the harder it gets. Everyone does not have the ability or the courage to do or be that. It requires a true self-healer. And healing oneself, you start to see that none of it is really about you. You're healing for the generations that come after you because you don't want to see them go through the same things that you went through. And helping the community, helping someone outside of your immediate circle, even if it's just one person. You're an artist. You take one underprivileged child, someone who doesn't have what you have, and you buy them the easel board, you buy them the paint. You sit with them and you say, look, these are the techniques. That child could be the next Picasso because you took time out of your day. Once a week, you took time with this child to teach it, to teach him or her. You're planting a seed. You're planting a tree that you may never live to see come to fruition. But that child will never forget you. You are taking someone who is homeless and they're ready to come off the streets, because there's something about people who are going through certain things that you can't really, I don't want to get off track here, but some people have a karmic debt, and I don't care if you take them off the streets, build them a house, give them the most beautiful clothes and a nice car, they'll end up homeless again because it's a karmic debt that they need to experience. So you want to make sure that you're using your gift for people who can appreciate it. And even those who can appreciate it, you're planting that seed, yes? So getting old or older does not make one an elder. An elder contributes to the family. An elder contributes to the community. An elder gives of themselves without reciprocity, because a lot of times you're not going to get reciprocity. The goal is not reciprocity. The goal is to stand in the shoes of an elder. And we grow in this. Some would look at this video and say, look at you. You haven't lived long enough to even speak on the topic. And they may be right. But I do know this. There's only been very few elders in my life. I've known thousands of old people, and not one of them have contributed anything. As a matter of fact, most of them have contributed more trauma. There's very few elders who have made a difference in my life. And I remember every one of them. This is why it's so important That your goal should not be to live long and look as young as you can for as long as you want to. That's all fine. Look your best, be your best. But keep in mind that getting older does not make one an elder. Think about today what you will be when you're 65 and you're 75. I mean, only God knows, but what is it that you can do to change someone's life for the better? What is it that you've learned that you can pass on to someone else? What is it that you have that you're holding on to and you're thinking, nobody cares about that? There's somebody who cares about that. There's somebody who needs what you have. So I encourage you today, no matter what your age is right now, to consider what eldership would look like. Consider what that might look like for yourself. Now, I might very well look back on this video 10 years from now and fall out laughing. But this is what's in my heart today. And this is what I wanted to share with my viewers today. Seek eldership. Getting old is inevitable. There's nothing one can do about that. But being an elder is a privilege. It's an honor. We want to seek eldership, yes? Well, viewers, that's all I have for you today. That's the topic that I woke up with on my heart and I wanted to share with you. I thank you for tuning into my channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share if you feel to. All likes and subscribes are appreciated. Thank you for tuning in to Closing the Gap, where we make a conscious effort to meet you where you're at on your spiritual journey. We'll see you next time.